In this Benchmark Factory for Databases chapter, we'll be talking about one of the two wizards in the tool that you'll be using a lot. This is the Load Scenario Wizard, and you'll use it to set up all of your load tests in Benchmark Factory. To access the Load Scenario Wizard, come to the Wizard menu drop-down, choose Load Scenario. If this is inactive for you, you want to make sure that you're not focused on the Jobs queue. You want to make sure that the Script tab has focus. Then you're going to step through this. You're going to have multiple choices of tests. These will differ somewhat from platform to platform. For example, you won't see the Oracle Rack test in a Sybase session. You have several different types of tests. They generally break down to two different types. You have the predefined tests that will generally be under the TPC industry standard benchmark type tests above. And then below that, you have multiple different ways of taking load that you're going to define, either manually importing SQL statements or specifying stored procedural calls, or a mix of the two, or importing activity from a trace file. Or if you have our performance analysis tool, you can actually connect into that repository and pull out expensive SQL. Once you decide which tests you want to choose from, and as you select each of these, you'll notice that there's a description below. You'll just hit the next. And some of these will have multiple choices for you. For instance, the TPC tests, you might want to go with a C test, which is the most well known. You're going to be asked to choose a profile here. Remember, profiles are just your aliased connections that the tests will run against. And if you haven't set this up already, you can hit New here, and this will launch the Profile Wizard. You need to set up the properties of the test, and for the TPC tests, the most important property is the scale factor. And then you have the Load Scenario Wizard. This is where you're going to determine how many runs of the test there will be, and for each run, how many concurrent users will be executing your queries. So the default for most of these is a run of 1, 4, 8, and 10 for a total of 4 runs. To use this wizard, you can delete everything and create your own custom loads. So you can type a number here. So if I want to start with 15 and bring that over, I can. And then if I want to dynamically add from 20 to 50 in increments of 5, I can hit add, and that'll bring this over as such. So now I have a test that's going to run X times for each of these amount of concurrent users. You're then going to be asked if you want to add this test to an existing script, or if you want to create a new script. And what I suggest you do is that you always create a new script or project in Benchmark Factory when you're doing a different type of test. If your tests are related and they're basically trying to determine the same thing, or if you're creating a variation of a test, go ahead and just leave that in your existing project or script file. If you use Benchmark Factory on a weekly basis, if you continuously add existing, you're going to get a cluttered project over here, and eventually you're just going to want to strip those out to their existing scripts. And you'll just want to give this a name so you know what it is. And then it's going to tell me, okay, we've created your scenario. Are you ready to run with it? So this check marks at the bottom, if I were to enable this, this will do two things. It's going to create the script, but it's also going to submit that script as a job, or in other words, it's going to run the test. If you choose to uncheck this, it will be up to you to start the test yourself.